All right, boys. Semphis here. Just kind of wanted to make a quick video about weight loss, weight gain. Just my experiences on different training routines, cardio, that kind of stuff. Because I saw some people posting on like different forums and stuff, kind of wondering, like saying, "Oh, some pros should lose weight; it would make them better." Some people think weight training bad for you, etc. So I just kind of wanted to put my experience. So I mean, you can take it for what it is. I personally, I think every person is individual. Some people will probably play better being 300 pounds overweight than they would be 150. You might call me crazy, but you know what? I just think everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's going to play better or worse under different conditions. Some people, like I saw in an interview first, said he sleeps 12 hours a night before big games. Personally, I can't even sleep 12 hours if I want to. If I purposely tried to sleep for 12 hours, it wouldn't even work. And even if I did, I would feel worse when I woke up. So props to him for being able to sleep for 12 hours straight, but I can't do that. So, and even when I sleep past 10 hours, like I said, I'll just feel kind of groggy through the whole day, and I won't even feel good. So basically getting into it, I'm going to start off with my first weight loss. So in complexity / C9, everyone saw I kind of lost like a lot of weight. I was probably close to around 280, maybe 300. I don't think I was 300, but I never weighed myself, so it's your guess is as good as mine. I know for fact I weighed more than like 270. Just because I knew that I weighed myself at a previous time earlier and I was around 260, and I know I got much bigger from there. So that's all I really got to go on. So basically throughout complexity and C9, I dieted very hard. I was on between 1,800 and 2,200 calories pretty much the whole time. I tracked everything to the fucking gram. I use a food scale. I did cardio at the start 4 times a week or every other day, and then I upped it up to 6 days, and I did no weight training. In this time, I lost quite a bit of weight. I would say probably 50-ish pounds, somewhere around there, before I started weight training. Then I started going to the gym about 4 days a week at start, and I kept up my 6 days of cardio. No matter what, I always ran outside, up a giant hill, down a hill, so like it wasn't just flat running or like a treadmill type thing. So my point is that during this time, the one thing I noticed was my reaction time definitely got faster. That human benchmark test, you type human benchmark in Google, a little site will come up. That's kind of what I use to test my reaction time and stuff like that. Basically, it got quicker. There's no doubt about that. In terms of actually playing Counter-Strike, even with increased reaction time, I don't think I got like a lot worse. But I do think that mentally I was a little bit more tired more often than I was when I was fat. I think when I was fat, I was just always eating like pizza, like pasta with like meat sauce. Like I always ate. I wasn't like a huge like chocolate bar, chips type of person. I drank a lot of soda, like Coke. Coke was my go-to drink. Drink all that shit every day. And then I would go with like pizza, pastas. Pastas, eggs, cheese. Like I still ate, like a lot of protein, but it would be like kind of bad stuff, like sausages and like pork and like, not the greatest, maybe qualities. But anyways, so that's what I kind of ate on the daily when I was like kind of fatter. And when I did this, it was like, I definitely felt my blood pressure and stuff like that was a little bit higher, and I think I was a little bit slower in terms of like reaction than I was when I lost the weight. However, I was never tired. Like I was never ever tired. I could play like 12 hours a day, no problem. When I was kind of at the end of my dieting on C9, I just felt like I was just keeping myself going with caffeine and stuff, and probably you can attribute that to like, such low calories and high cardio. I think if I cut the cardio back and I did maybe more, a little bit more calories, because I mean, realistically, 1,800 is about as low as you should go as a guy, unless you're really, really short. You shouldn't be going much lower than 1,800, and I realized that at the end, and I was kind of upping it, around like 2,200 or 2,300, but still, that's still pretty low if you take into account how much like running I was doing, because I ran a shitload. So at the end of C9, I was wearing small shirts. Literally, I would fit into small. This is a double XL. So I've kind of went up a lot of weight. I probably weigh around 250-ish, somewhere in there. My weight fluctuates a lot right now. I kind of dropped a little bit of weight. Started doing like kind of a mini diet. I eat like 3,000 calories right now, which I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, that's a lot. But when you're bigger and you kind of built up a little bit more muscle mass, you kind of need more calories. Then I also don't want to feel tired all the time. So this kind of makes me feel good and I lose weight. So anyways, that's what I'm doing right now. So going from C9 Semphis versus Fat Semphis, I think Fat Semphis was better. I think I performed better just because I was not doing anything but playing Counter-Strike. I literally just played CS all day, and then I played Dota in my off time and ate food. And I really was never fatigued at all. And then you look at C9 Semphis, and you might look at him and you could be like, well, maybe if you cut back your training and you ate more food and you kind of kept a healthier diet with increased reaction time, you should be better. And that's where I'll go with. So after I got cut from C9, I went to Nylum. And when I was on Nylum, that's when I started my first like real bulk. Like before I would kind of go to like maintenance or maybe a little bit higher for like a month because it's not healthy to be dieting for like 8 months straight. So basically what I would do when I first joined Nylum is when I first was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to try to put on some muscle. So I started bulking, and it was like a relatively clean bulk. You know, when you're bulking, obviously you can get away with like 1 or 2 days a week, kind of eating some pizza and whatever. But for the most part, it was just like, you know, chicken, sweet potatoes, eggs, oatmeal, you know, standard stuff, nothing crazy. You know, some ground beef, whatever. And then, so that was like fairly clean. It wasn't too bad. And that I actually played really well, but I actually was only going to the gym 3 times a week because I was doing like mostly like starting strength stuff. So you know how that is, like 3 days a week. You squat every time, you bench twice a week, and deadlift once, whatever. And well, you switch that every other week, but that's besides the point. And so during this time, I was eating excess calories. I was only going to the gym 3 days a week, and I was doing cardio like 1 to 3 times a week, kind of depending how I felt. I was bulking, so I wasn't like super worried about cardio at the time. And then I actually played really well, but at the same time, I felt like I had a lot more energy, and I was eating excess calories, and I didn't really need like caffeine 24/7 to keep me going. Like I felt like on C9, if I wasn't just like pounding coffee all the time at events and stuff, I would you know, sorry, it would just feel like I would just be tired, you know. So I definitely think in that sense, I actually think that I was better in the Nylon part. And then after Nylon, I kind of played pretty good throughout all of Nylon. And then we got picked up by TSM, and then there it's just like kind of a combination of I got forced off of the Kinzu V1, which I was opping on, which kind of set me back a lot because anyone that's watched my stream, it's like I've always said, Logitech makes great peripherals. Everything they make is super fucking high quality. Their sensors are amazing. I have nothing against Logitech. They're a great company. They treated me great. They're awesome. Their products are awesome. But if you prefer another mouse, like the Kinzu one actually has a bad sensor. It's terrible. It's like it's positive acceleration. So what happens is you can use a really low sensitivity. So for example, if you see Guardian, he's a Kinzu V1, he is 1.3 cents, right? So if you use a sense that low, you might be thinking, oh, like how do you turn? Well, the way that it works with the Kinzu V1 is like you put your crosshair somewhere, so you're aiming, and then if they run into it, your sense is 1.3, so like you can't really accidentally move off or anything. You just click and they die, or you move it a tiny bit and they die. However, if you ever have to retake or go to peek into something, the faster you move your mouse, the faster your sensitivity goes. So 1.3 will turn more into like it's not going to like 12 sensitivity or anything, but it's going up to maybe more around like 2.5 or something, depending how fast you move it. So with 1.3, I could flick my hand and I would just 180 in game. Like so, like it was very nice in that sense. So when I go to Logitech, they don't really have anything that I can mimic that. I mean, you could maybe use Excel, but in my opinion, it didn't feel anywhere the same. It just felt like bad to me. So then it was like all about getting used to new stuff. So in terms of like how did the weight loss and stuff affect that, I think that was just me in my own head just being screwed with like, you know, gear, blah blah blah, and that kind of stuff. So it's hard for me to say there, but then I started doing like heavier and heavier strength training. I deadlifted up to like 620 pounds. You know, I benched 315 for one. I've done squat 500 for one, but like honestly, I could probably do like 530, but unracking it just fucking kills this shoulder. I've dislocated this shoulder twice, so I have to be very careful when it comes to like anything that's like putting my shoulder in an awkward position, which is why my deadlift and my squat are so much higher than my bench and my overhead press. Anyways, that doesn't really matter. My main point is that how the lift make you feel. So let's say I PR on bench or overhead press. I feel all right the next day. Maybe I'm not like 100%, but like it's not too bad for me personally. Maybe that's just because the weights aren't as heavy, you know. But for me, it's like if I PR bench one day, I could go play a match and probably still top frag or do whatever or do well. Now, if I go and I PR or deadlift and I'm lifting like 600 plus pounds, the next day, like it feels like the hand doesn't even listen to me. Like literally, it feels like I'm just like lethargic and like slow. It doesn't matter how much I eat, if I'm bulking or I'm cutting or anything. So what I started doing, and I actually played pretty well at the Mountain Dew League. I think I had like the top like 3 or 4 stats or something. Like I know it's not the biggest LAN ever, so it doesn't matter that much. I'm just saying like I actually played pretty well at that LAN. And what I started doing is the week before something important, I would stop anything heavy and just do 3 or 4 sets of like, 8 to 12 reps, just kind of like bodybuilding stuff. And then I would stop training 1 to 2 days before the flight at all and not train at the gym until I'm out of the tournament. So the only training I did was like a little bit of cardio because I do think cardio is important. I think everyone should do cardio like 3 times a week, even if you're overweight, even if you don't care what you eat and you're just like fat, like 30-minute walk on a treadmill, even if you don't care about losing weight, if you care about your CS performance, definitely think just like a little bit of cardio. It doesn't have to be a lot, is going to help blood pressure, reaction time, everything, because it just trains your heart to be more efficient. And I do think there's some correlation between like reaction time and cardio, because for me I've always felt like if I just do a little bit of cardio, like 3-4 days a week, even light stuff, just like treadmill, walking on an incline, so you put the incline to like a 10 and then you put the speed to like between 3 or 4, and you just walk for like 30 or 40 minutes. I usually do like 40 minutes, but some days you do 30 and you're like, fuck this, and you just get off. But I definitely recommend that, like at least 3 times a week is good. And then the training part is just like, I don't know, I think if you keep everything into like 3 or 4 sets, a couple exercises, you don't go everything to failure, and you don't go super super heavy. Well, you can't go really too heavy when you're doing like 12 reps, right? But if you do that, I think you'll feel fine in CS. I think it'll make you better. I think lifting super heavy, I've started doing stuff where like I just kind of leave that to around when I have no matches, I have nothing important, and then I just kind of do it like on those weeks, or maybe we have like nothing coming up, like just PR on the weekend, if I really want to. So deadlift's usually on Friday now. It's just so like even if I don't go super heavy on deadlift, I still think it's a little bit taxing, so I try to keep that on Friday. So end of the story is basically, I think being in like too far of a calorie deficit and doing too much workout is like kind of detrimental. So when you see like pimp transformation, my transformation, well, I think it's good to be healthier. I don't think it necessarily made us better at Counter-Strike. Now, once you hit your peak weight and then you eat maintenance or maybe a little bit more and you kind of like start feeling good, then yeah, I think it makes you better. But I think the process of actually losing the weight, it's very like taxing on your body, because your body doesn't want to lose weight. It doesn't want to be in a calorie it doesn't want to be in a decrease of calories, right? Your body always wants to eat more. That's why you feel bad when you're dieting. Like, I know you can try to eat like as healthy as possible and that kind of stuff, but and then I also wanted to say, so to end the video, I would say like 4 days a week doing weights and like 3 days cardio would be like kind of max, I think, if you want to like you be healthy and play well in CS. Like, your CS is more important than being like a bodybuilder or some shit. Now, obviously, if you're just playing casually and you just want to be fucking like ripped and huge, then you don't really give a shit that much about CS. So do whatever you want to do. But like, if your priority is CS, then I think maybe 3 or 4 days in the gym doing weights and then 3 days cardio or something. That's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to release like hormones and like, I don't know, if you run a lot, you'll start feeling better after you run. Maybe not the first week or the second week, but like eventually you'll start feeling good after you're done. Same with training. Like, sometimes when you do like a leg workout or something, you just feel like better after you've done it. I don't know how to explain it, but after and then in terms of diet, I think like maintenance and then eating like relatively healthy. Like, I'm not saying you have to eat chicken and rice and broccoli every single meal, but I think like eating a lot of like Pizza Hut and like McDonald's and stuff, like whatever they put in these foods definitely makes you feel lethargic. Like, even when I was like fatter and I ate like unhealthy stuff, like I definitely know that I felt like a little bit lethargic from the food, even though I felt like fine during the day. And I guess like for me, I think that people are too afraid of sodium when they diet. I think that was the case for me. I think you should always be getting like electrolytes like sodium, and you don't want like sugar's good for like when you work out and stuff, like from like healthy stuff like a banana or fruit or whatever. But in terms of gaming, like, you don't need like this high energy like outburst potential. So you just need to like eat like some oatmeal or like any complex carbohydrate and some protein and fat. Don't neglect fats, by the way. When you diet, you need a certain level of fats to maintain hormone function. So you have to look at what it is. I think it's like body weight times 0.45 is like a decent value. So like, depending on your weight, you want to get like a certain amount of fat and then like manipulate your carbs. So like, if you care about CS, like what I would do is just get your fats in however you want during the day. I mean, it doesn't really matter like the way that you get them, but get your fat and protein, and then carbs like for one time around the gym. And two, if you have like a big match, don't eat like a Snickers like 1 minute before your match. It's going to make you go up and then down. What you want to do is like about an hour before your match, you want to eat like what I personally like. If I had a big match and I could do this at LAN, is I would eat oatmeal with protein powder with almond butter and some berries and cinnamon, and I would just mix it all up and eat it. I think it tastes good. It's all healthy. There's like a ton of fiber and like a little bit of sugar from berries, but berries kind of do it like you digest sugar from berries a little bit different. And you got complex carbohydrates from oatmeal, and then drink like a coffee. And a lot of people, they like to drink energy drinks or coffee like 1 minute before the game or like as the game is live. You should drink that shit like 30-45 minutes before, because you're not getting hit from the peak like concentration of coffee for like 15 or 30 minutes, depending on people. Like, some people get hit a lot quicker, so then maybe you drink it like 15 minutes before. But don't just take this shit in like as you're playing, because like as you're playing, you're gonna start being like zoning in more and more and more. But you want to have that feeling like before it goes live. Like, you want to feel like that in pregame before it goes live, so that it's normal for you. You don't want it to feel weird like as the game is going. Like I said, everyone's different. If you play better drinking a fucking Red Bull or like a Monster or whatever energy drink you like Mountain Dew, like whatever it is that you drink, I know everyone has a different choice, but like if you drink any of these things, you just want to do it like before rather than during. But like I said, if you know that you're better, like if anything I say you know that is wrong for you, then you don't do it, because everyone's body is different. You know what I mean? Like everyone is gonna play like a little bit different. So that's pretty much just my take on it. And I know it's quite a long video, so it really just matters if you kind of care about my opinion. But anyways, here it is.